We are going live. First live broadcast with video will be going on at 8 o'clock. Our mics will be muted until then. Stay tuned. All right, folks, we are live at 8 o'clock for the first video edition of the Wildcat Alley with Jonathan and Joseph. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We've got three ways for you to watch. On my Facebook, Jonathan Williams, on Twitter under the Wildcat Alley, or on YouTube at the Wildcat Alley. Joseph, welcome. What's good?
Up? Hey, let's get into it. This is awesome. Let's do the intro.
All right, let's do it. Our show is brought to you by our show sponsor, Lake Forest Recruiting and Braden's Blessings. Lake Forest Recruiting Firm is owned by Jay and Allison Holland, and they connect psychiatrists and mental health specialists and nurse practitioners with jobs all over the country, in leading jobs all over the country. And Braden's Blessings is a local charity around Edmonson County, dedicated to honoring the life of Braden Combs. He's my cousin. All of us remember, I'll just say a word or two about that. All of us remember the day in 2019 when Braden left us. And I have to give my hats off to Allison, Shannon, and all those involved with Braden's Blessings, trying to do a lot of good in Braden's name, and we really appreciate that. Actually, right now, they're gathering supplies for our prom closet. They help local students at Edmonson County who cannot afford to go to prom or has trouble with that. They provide dresses, a meal, and so forth. Actually looking for some more sponsors to help the boys. So if you want to help, get in touch with me or get in touch with Allison with Braden's Blessings, and I'll help out with that. Tonight, our awards portion of the show is brought to you by Kevin Alexander, our Edmonson County clerk. And our guests are being brought to you by Essence Oils. And we also are a show sponsor. Our show is sponsored by Rafferty's. And Scott Lindsay does a lot for our county. Go to Rafferty's Double Dogs, support him. They sponsor our Cave Land Classic Christmas tournament here in the county. And we're honored to do business with them. Tonight, we've got on Ty Price, Briar Griffin, to the starting players for the 12th District champion Butler County Bears. Also, my pick, if we get eliminated, of course, I'm always going to pick Edmonson County, but my pick on paper to win the third region this year, they've got a loaded team. Ty's a four-star point guard nationally, has 4 D1 offers. Briar Griffin is a defensive juggernaut that anchors their defense, guards other team's best players. we'll get into more of that later. But I want to turn it over to my co-host here. He is going to run down some third region basketball action. He's going to give his 2 cents on the boys and girls side on who is on the first and second teams, Defensive Player of the Year. He's got a few other awards he is going to present tonight. And so with that, I want to turn it over to the one and the only Joseph Decker.
Yeah, let's get it going. So, going to be giving out a lot of awards here for the third region, 12th district, and we even have a few awards for the state level. So that'll come later. But let's go ahead and start with the awards for the third region. And let's do boys awards first, then we'll go into girls. So for my third region player of the year, pretty consensus. I went with Ty Price from Butler County. We could talk on his numbers all day. 29.5 points, which is 5th in the state, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 103 pointers made this season. His season was incredible this year. Defensive player of the year for the third region, I went with his teammate who's going to be joining us later, Briar Griffin. 1.9 steals a game. He consistently guards the best player on the floor for the opposing team, usually always guards the best guard. And if you know the third region is loaded with guard talent, we're definitely more focused on guards than big men. Not to say we don't have any good big men because that would be a lie, but it's really guard heavy. Let's go to newcomer. The way we did this is I looked at their games last year and I looked at their games this year. If they started, Lord, the guy that we picked here, I'll say this. He only started his district tournament last year for Grayson County. Then this season, he started every game that he was available and he played. It's Spencer Langdon from Grayson County. Spencer had a phenomenal season. He gets overlooked a little bit by the talent like Jack Loxton, Brody Armstrong, but Spencer had a phenomenal season for a freshman. Averaged 15-plus points a game, 4-plus rebounds. So his season was truly incredible. And you have anything to say on that before we say Coach of the Year?
No, I think you're good there. Spencer, for newcomer of the year, Spencer's a really, really good player. That whole Grayson County Cougars team is really young. If they stay together, they're going to be dangerous next couple of years. No, I think I don't have any disagreements with you so far, Joseph.
Yeah, I really like Grayson County. They don't have anybody graduating this season, so they're going to really run it back to the same roster next year. So this is where we did have a little bit of a head turner, a little bit of a disagreement. It's Coach of the Year. I went with Ryan Tinsley from Apollo County, and you went with Paul Decker from Ohio. I'll speak on Ryan a little bit, then I'll let you talk about Paul. If you know anything about Apollo, I made a post on it recently talking about how they've struggled the last 5 seasons. They've been brutal. You know, they can't get past third region. They can't win in their district. This was Tinsley's first season there. They lost in the first round of region, but they played a juggernaut team. It's going to happen. But what I look at it is the fact that they were able to win 15-plus games for the first time in years with a very young team. I don't believe they have a senior. And they're led by a sophomore and a junior. So to do that at a program that has not had any type of success as of recent first-year head coach, I think that's phenomenal. I don't think it's talked about enough how good of a coach Coach Ryan Tinsley is and how good he did there. I'll give it to you here to talk about Paul Decker from Ohio County, a great coach, but let's hear your input.
Well, I thought Coach Decker was obviously very deserving. I think he's an excellent coach, good track record. But the Ohio County team really faced a lot of adversity early in the season with injuries and so forth, and he just kept staying the course, brought his kids along, and then here at the end, he's got them rallied and going in the right direction. They beat Owensboro Catholic down at their place. They did lose to Butler County late in the season, but I think Coach Decker deserves a lot of credit for operating on kind of a skeleton crew. I think Ryan deserves a lot of credit as well because that team hadn't won the amount of games they've won, as you already said, in 3 years. So kudos to both of them, but my choice was Paul Decker.
Yeah, Ohio County played a really strong schedule this year, and like you said, the Owensboro Catholic game was big. Elijah hit the game winner in that game. So look, we did co-coach the year, but I can definitely see the agreement for Paul, and like you said, you could probably see it for Ryan as well. So let's talk about our region teams. We did 3 teams similar to how the NBA does it, and all region first team, all region second team, all region third team. I know we had similar lists, but I'll do mine and then I'll let you do it. I'll speak on the first and second team picks a little bit. I won't speak on too much. This could go on a while, but for the first team, I did 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. My two guards was Ty Price from Butler County. We done spoke on him. The other one I did was Luke Bikeman from OCAF. Luke averaged 20-plus points a game. He just finished out an insane stretch in his district. Our Evans County Wildcats play them coming up soon in the region, so someone for folks to look out for. I went with forward Elijah Decker. I believe it was 19.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, led that Ohio County team. They had a great year. Jack Loxton, 20 points a game, 7-plus rebounds, was the major point for Grayson County this season. And for center, Lawson Rice, 18 points, 11-plus rebounds. He was by far the clear-cut center. In my opinion, a top 2 player in the region. You can debate one. So he was there without a doubt for me. I'll go to my second team. Gunnar Revlett from McLean, sharpshooter, amazing scorer. If you don't know a lot about Gunnar, I recommend you check him out. He's a good person. He's a really good player. Same with the next guy, Mercer Rogers. Mercer's kind of a completely different play style from Gunnar. He's more shifty. He drives to the rim a lot more. Another great talent. I love him at Breck. Another one I did was Jonathan Moss. He was my third player on the second team. He's from Davies. Good shooter, good player, another good shifty guard. Then I did for a guard / forward. It was Carter Young from Ohio County. He plays with Josh. I mean, not Josh. He plays with Elijah. He doesn't get talked about as much, but he deserves his flowers just as much as Elijah does. Stats-wise, player-wise, he was definitely there a lot this year. 15 points a game, paired with 5 rebounds. So similar stats to Elijah. And then for my center for the second team, I went with Keaton Hughes from Owensboro. I didn't see a lot of talk about Keaton this season. Not a lot of people were talking about him. So he had a really quiet, great season. I think he deserves more respect as well. Talked about more. I'll get his stats popped up here so I can read them off to people wondering. Keaton was 16.5 points a game, but he paired it with 10 rebounds. So a double-double in this region is extremely impressive. We'll go down to the third team. I have Garrett Hardesty from Meade. Big shout out to Meade County. They just won that district. Most people had Breck picked. Then also on the third team, I have Spencer Langdon from Grayson County. We just touched on him earlier, a freshman. Gage Phelps from Davies. Briar Griffin, who we'll have later, from Butler County. And then our very own Will Alexander from Evanston County cracks out my final spot on the third team. Basically our top 15 players in the region this season. So I'll let you go on, talk about your list. That's my list. Anything you like about it, disagree with, talk to me.
No, you're fine. I think you're making fair points. You go ahead and proceed. I do want to give a shout out to got a few comments here. Got on X, Fishhead Barbecue is commenting. They want Calvin Dockery in as Coach of the Year. They want Calvin in as Coach of the Year. We've got several watching with us. Shout out to Jeremy Wallman, by the way, for Cardinal Sports Zone. I see him saying "Let's go" on Facebook. Got Bobby and Tanya Marsh McGrew watching. My guy Bobby Ewing was Kentuckiana Hoops. Steve Smith from K105 in Grayson County. He's actually from Edmonson County, but he lives in Grayson County. We'll talk. We may devote one whole show to that. But anyway, just shout out to a few folks. Go ahead, Joseph. We third team.
Yeah. So I just gave the third team Garrett, Spencer, Gage, Briar, Will. So that rounds out my 3 teams. So I'll transition to 12th district, which is our district. Grayson, Whitesville, us, Evanston County, and Butler. I did a similar award type for them as well. So it was mainly Player of the Year, Defense Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. We did it for both boys and girls. After this, we'll transition to the girls. So for my boys Player of the Year, Ty Price from Butler County, and Defense Player of the Year, Briar Griffin from Butler County. You're going to hear them a lot in this episode, but they deserve it. And then for Coach of the Year, I went with Travis Johnston from Grayson County. No disrespect to Coach Dockery, no disrespect to Coach Tinsley, and none to the coach at Whitesville. And let me talk about this. I want to mention this again at Whiteville. I think Whitesville is, in a few seasons, going to be a really good team. I think they have a lot of young talent. They can play a team extremely well for a half, and I think they have good coaching. And I've heard that opinion from a lot of people. Rafferty, Scott Lindsay was telling me that about at the game. He was really into Whitesville, says in a few years he thinks they're going to be big. But for my Coach of the Year, I went with Coach Johnston at Grayson County. Similar reasoning to like at Apollo when I picked Ryan Tinsley. Travis has a really young team. He has one junior, which is Taden Loxton, that actively played Hayden Robinson. But he has a really young squad. They played a good schedule. They had a big win against Davies later in the season. They beat Greenwood at Greenwood. So they played a lot of really good schools and got a lot of really big wins. They started the season off beating Breck. They finished the season 17-12. Came up short in district, but I kind of held this to the regular season, and I went with Coach Johnston for Grayson County. And, I'll give it to you. Any agreements, disagreements?
Yeah, I would have to pick Coach Dockery on that for Coach of the Year. I mean, I think I don't know Coach Dockery real well, but he's had to it's great to have super talented teams, but it's also a challenge to manage personalities, skill sets. Everybody's wanting to be seen, and he's done a good job of keeping those guys rowing the same direction, if you will. And so I would tip off to Calvin Dockery, but no disrespect to Travis Johnston. I think Travis Johnston is a good coach. I've known Travis a long time, since he was about in 7th grade. And, he's won 5, I think, or 6 district tournaments there in the last 7 years. So all the respect in the world to him. But I would like to say I would go with Calvin Dockery this year.
That's reasonable. 20 wins. They played a really hard schedule. I know they have the talent, but there has to be good coaching for the talent to execute and work out, I think. So I agree with that. If it's fine with you, I think this is a perfect time where I'll do teams of the year, and then we can go on to the girls, if that's fine with you.
Yeah, in between the boys and girls, I'm going to throw out a little trivia for the folks and see who can answer it. You go ahead, though.
No, go ahead. Let's ask that question. I want to get that out there. A little Q&A for the fans.
Okay, I've got 2 questions that I want to ask. So we've got a couple of guys from Butler County on tonight. Obviously, we're from Edmonson County. What people don't realize in the area is Edmonson-Butler actually dates back farther than Grayson County, Edmonson County rivalry-wise. So my trivia question tonight is, what is the largest crowd on record that ever watched an Edmonson County versus Butler County basketball game? I'm not going to answer it right now. I'm going to answer it later in the show. What is the largest crowd on record? I do have a record of this that ever watched Edmonson County, Butler County, and in what year was that game? What season was that game? Okay, that's my first question. My second question is, on the Edmonson-Grayson side, what Edmonson County player, since we returned to the 12th district in 2006, has a winning record versus Grayson County in their career, in their 4-year career, and is undefeated against the Cougars in district tournament play? All right, those are my 2 trivia questions. We'll get to the answer when we get back later on in the show, okay? I'm going to ask Ty and Brian, see if they know when they come on. So go ahead, Joseph. Hey, do you have a guess, by the way? Don't guess on the Edmonson-Grayson, but let me know who you think. What do you think the crowd size is that's the largest crowd to ever watch? Do you know the answer to that?
I don't know the exact answer, but I can give a guess.
Well, don't even guess. We'll wait till later.
Yeah, we'll wait. All right, so let's transition. Let's transition into teams of the year. And the way I did this was this was boys and girls combined. So let's start out. For breakout team of the year, it's girls and boys combined. So it could have been a girls team. It could have been a boys team. My choice was Warren East Lady Raiders. They just won their district title. So here's the fact that I think really took it for me. Was from December 15th to February 12th, they went on a 20-game win streak, which, we talked about Grayson County girls 15-game win streak, but the 20-game win streak for Warren East, they weren't playing a weak schedule either. They're in a really strong region district. So they were playing high quality talent, and to win 20 games in a row, like I said, from December 15th to February 12th, that's on another level. And then we have most dominant. So this was another one that was boys and girls. So here's the thing. A lot of people will be like, well, Great Crossing, Lyon County, teams like that. But I tried to keep it more in our area. Hart, Barron, Warren, all those kind of factored in. Local places. My pick was Bowling Green Purples, the boys. Multiple D1 talents on that team. A really good squad. 27-5 was their final record for the season. Big wins, really big wins. Teams like Fairdale, they got good wins over. they really owned Warren Central this season, who won state last season and still is a great team. So that's big. They actually just beat them in district. They were the district champs also. So for most dominant, I went Bowling Green, and for breakout, Warren East Lady Raiders. Now this one is a larger scale. This one covers more of the state. I went with boys team state of the year. So the best team in the whole state. I know we differ on this one, but I went with Great Crossing. They're led by Malachi Marino, who is if I'm not mistaken, last time I checked, is a 5-star basketball recruit. Got an offer from Kentucky. They just won the 41st district champs. They play a lot of good teams. They have another team in there with them that if I wouldn't have picked Great Crossing, I probably would have went with them. They're Lexington Catholic, who was 30-2 this season. They beat them. So that's what really put it over for me. And then girls team state of the year, the girls team of the year for the whole state, Sacred Heart in Louisville. They won their district. They finished season 24-7. Not as much information to cover on those two, but Great Crossing for the boys team of the whole state, and then for the girls, Sacred Heart. Do you have anything on those? Any agreement?
Yeah, I think Lyon County is my team in the state. Maybe I'm a little bit nostalgic with with Travis Perry and those guys, the way they play, the Lyon County teams, who I would pick for my team of the year in the state. The girls is obviously Sacred Heart. They've got Zakiah Johnson, which is one of the top players in the nation for the 2025 class, with offers from South Carolina, Louisville, Connecticut. Need I even say any more of them? No. It's unbelievable. We went and watched her play. And of those 7 losses, 0 of those are from Kentucky teams. And if I'm not mistaken, somebody can verify me, but they are not – I don't think they've lost a game to a team in Kentucky in 3 years. I don't think Sacred Heart has lost a game to a team in Kentucky in 3 years. Now, Franklin Simpson is absolutely the most dominant team in our area. Hands down, they're 29-1, and I agree with that. Bowling Green, just a tremendous team. But what sets Bowling Green apart is the 6'8", 6'9" kid inside that
Ritter.
Ritter is tremendous. And I've got to see them play a little bit, and they're really, really tough.
They are.
Here's the reality of it. We've got a lot of good teams in this area, a lot of good teams. And among those were Butler County this year. Of course, Warren Central is kind of hitting their stride now. Of course, Butler County dropped I'm going to say an upset, because they were up on them, ended up losing by 4, but Butler County was right there, had the lead. So, Butler County's right there with some of these teams. But breakout team of the year, you picked Warren East girls. Hats off to Jenny. My goodness, what a great job she did. Surrounding herself with a staff with Brandon Combs, Coach Peters, Coach Eller, and those guys, just tremendous experience. I know the Warren East community. I worked over there. The Warren East community is tremendous and loves their athletics. So it could get interesting in the 4th region. You've got Franklin Simpson, who laid the absolute smackdown on everyone in the area they played almost. They beat Allen County Scottsville today. I think they were up 30 at halftime. But, they'll play Bowling Green next. And if they win, Warren East has got a pretty good road right into the regional final if they can pull off the 2 wins that's in front of them. I think they play Todd County Central, and then they would have, I believe, Metcalfe County is the favorite to win that other game. So they'd have to go through Metcalfe County and Todd County Central, but it'd be a very good game, Franklin Simpson and Warren East for the girls' 4th region title. Kudos to Jenny Neville and her group of coaches. Great job. Great job.
Yeah, that's a must-watch game for me. I'll touch back. You speak on the boys again while we pick Bowling Green. Got to watch Bowling Green twice, which was big time for me. And Bowling Green is a powerhouse, man. They have the Wardlows. They have Deuce Bailey. They have Mason Ritter, who's D1 commit to Columbia, which is an Ivy League school. So they're all around really deep. I think they are going to win out the 4th region, and I think they will go on to play at state. In my opinion, I think they will. They done took care, I feel like, of the 2nd best team in Warren Central. Now, that's no slap to anyone else, but I think they can win that region with a little bit of ease. Warren Central still a great team. They didn't have Cade Unseld, who is the Western commit 4-star, for a large portion of their season. So to see Bowling Green dominate Warren Central whenever Cade was back. And I know Warren Central lost a lot of players last season, but they still have an elite roster. They're insanely athletic. They're still a great team. They're a threat to everybody, I think. So Bowling Green has some big wins under their belt. And
Yeah.
for our area, most dominant, I think they're without a doubt the team to pick. I think Butler also deserves to be in that conversation. So with me going with Bowling Green, I want to give a shout out to Butler. And that's my thoughts on that. So,
all right, let me just restate the trivia. I've got several guesses coming in. The trivia question, we've got two of them. What's the largest crowd on record to ever watch a Butler County versus Edmonson County basketball game? And I've got some guesses. I've got a guess of 13,000 from our superintendent, Mr. Alexander. I've got a guess of 10,000 from Fathead Barbecue, or excuse me, Fishhead Barbecue. And I've also got a guess of near 10,000, and I've got a guess of the 73-74 season. I'll confirm who's correct and who is not as we go throughout the night. May even pull up a picture of that game that I've got, but we'll get to that. The other question was, what Edmonson County player, let me read this so I don't get it wrong. What Edmonson County player, since we returned to the 12th district in 2006, has a winning record? And this is one player. What Edmonson County player, since we returned in 06 to the 12th district, has a winning record versus Grayson County in their career and is undefeated against the Cougars in district tournament play? Okay, that'll be that. Those are the two questions. We got an Edmonson Butler question and an Edmonson Grayson question. We'll get to those toward the end. Go ahead and do the girls' side, then we'll get to Ty Price after you get finished.
yeah, this one won't take too long, so let's go ahead and get into it. For my girls' awards, similar how we did the boys to start the episode, we're going to do Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. I didn't do a newcomer because there were so many talented players who came in playing varsity this season. It was hard to narrow it down to one. But I will shout out our Shelby Souders from Edmonson County. That probably would have ended up being my vote. But for Player of the Year for our girls, our region, I went with Caroline Lucas from Breck. Without a doubt, one of the best, if not the best player in our region, a phenomenal player. Defensive Player of the Year, our very own Carrie Ann Williams. She was my choice. And then for Coach of the Year, I went with Chad Mormon from Breck. Breck's a dominant school, man. They are very good. Talk to me a little bit. What's your thoughts on those choices? Caroline for Player of the Year, Carrie Ann for Defensive, and Chad Mormon for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I agree with those. I mean, of course, I'm a little partial to one of them there, but Chad Mormon's a phenomenal coach. Okay, phenomenal. And, of course, was diagnosed with cancer. I've gotten to know Chad, really good guy. He's a warrior and a competitor. He told me one day when I was checking on him, he goes, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to give it heck. If I have treatments, I'm going to get treated with every bit of the positive attitude in the fight I've got. If I have to have surgery, I'm going to do that with the best attitude I can. And I think that's just a sample of his leadership. And, you know, they dropped a few losses early in the season that they wouldn't have probably if they weren't going through some adversity. But now here they are in March playing really, really well. It's a 1-point game with Catholic until the fourth quarter, and they let it get away from them a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and pick Breck. I'm going to pick Breck to run the tables and upset the apple cart and win the region on the girls' side. You know, Carrie Ann's, you know, she's my daughter and one of my students at school. So, I mean, I'm a little partial there, but I do think she's improved with her defensive rotations and some of her timing things. You know, that's helped her block the amount of shots that she has, 405 on her career up to this point, 174 this season. By the way, people may not know this. We went down to watch Campbellsville today, and they exciting day for her. They pulled her in after the game, offered her a scholarship. So just a humbling thing. I do want to shout out. Seeing a few people tune in. Belinda Lawson, one of the Warren East faithful. She's got twin daughters on that Warren East team that you said was your breakout team of the year. Appreciate Belinda tuning in. And I'm telling you, that Warren East team is 20 wins in a row. They're going to be tough. So I agree with everything you've said so far, Joseph. Go ahead, run through it.
Yeah, and for Carrie Ann, you do the math. She averages 6 blocks a game. So when I do Defensive Player of the Year, I mean, the numbers are great, but I think outside of that, she was mayhem to everybody she went against. She was a matchup nightmare. Nobody wanted to be guarded by Carrie Ann, and she stood up to that. She played phenomenal defense all season. Played a lot of great talent too. So let's cover the 12th District Awards, which is again Whitesville, Grayson, us, Evans County, and Butler. For my 12th District Awards, Carrie Ann was my Player of the Year. She also took in Defensive Player of the Year. She took it in for the whole region, so her winning it for the district is not a surprise. And I'll touch a little bit on her stats here for those who are interested. 17.3 points a game, paired with basically 12 rebounds a game. And like we said, the 6 blocks, 78% from the free throw line. And she had a phenomenal season. Her season last season was awesome, but she took another huge step up. And then for my Coach of the Year, I couldn't decide. Obviously, I'm very partial to ours. Jody Booth, first season, the way that he had our team. But Lexi Belcher from Butler County, I hadn't seen a girls' Butler County game until they played here at Evans County, and then I got to watch them in the district, and I got to meet her and talk to her a little bit. She's a great person, great coach, and so I gave her the I kind of double-teamed it. Lexi Belcher and Jody Booth, 50-50. So those are my picks for the 12th District. I know you, big 12th District guy, obviously. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I thought Jody did a great job as well. I think he would say that Lexi Belcher is the Coach of the Year. Lexi Belcher is the most underrated basketball coach in the region. I have nothing but 100% respect for her. She wins. You know, when she was loaded a couple of years ago, she won. When they lost everybody, like they did, you know, their roster was more depleted this year, they won. So lots of respect for her. And I want to say this, you know, when you start talking about our kids in the 12th District, I want to say, you know, there's a lot of kids. We're talking about individuals, but there's not a kid that scores a point that somebody didn't pass it to them. There's not a team that wins a game that five kids aren't on the floor at a time. You know, we had breakout seasons in Evanston County from Shelby Souders, Jenna Cook. You know, Kennedy Swihart was having a great season when she went down with that knee injury. You know, a lot of our kids, you know, Julie Norris, Maggie Cassidy, Cheney Browning. I'm not trying to leave any of them out. Played roles in some of those young kids. So when we get Cheney, Cheney graduated, but when we get Kennedy back and get our kids back in the gym and everybody healthy again, I think we're going to be just fine. But I think Jody would say that he would go with Lexi Belcher. And so that kind of respect, I'm going to show the same. Lexi Belcher would be my Coach of the Year, although I think Jody Booth did a tremendous job. He and Madison and Coach Wells and Coach Papp, as they call Barry Booth, they did a great job for us here at home.
Yeah, we're reaching in here at about 8:30, so I'm going to read off the girls' region teams, and then I think we should transition. We're going to get in here with top price. So for my girls' region teams, I'll read it off quickly. I'll post it later too for those who want to hear it. Kennedy Lane from McLean, Peyton Bradley from Meade, who we had on the show, great person. Player of the Year, Caroline Lucas, Haley Johnson from Ocath, who I think was voted Player of the Year by the coaches, and then Carrie Ann Williams for the center. Excuse me if I missay this name, but Shaylin Sprinkles from Owensboro, Aubrey Randolph from Ocath, Paige Medley from Meade, Alerica Hughes from Owensboro, and then finishing off with Brooklyn Stewart from Muhlenberg. So 10 really, really good girls there who cracks on my 2 teams that I made there. So there's our award part of the show for players of the 3rd region, 12th district, and all around the state. So if you're ready, let's transition and get Ty in here.
All right. Well, I want to just say again, thank you to Lake Forest Recruiting Firm and Braden's Blessings for sponsoring the show. Rafferty's Essence Oils, Kevin Alexander. Appreciate everything they're doing for us. The next guest we're going to have on the show needs no introduction. I'm bringing him on now. Just let me run down just a few of these things before we welcome him officially on the show. He's Butler County's all-time leading scorer with over 2,000 points to date. He scored 1,000 points last season, only one of 10 people that did that nationally. He's averaging 29 points, 4.5 assists, 3 rebounds, 2.2 steals. He's 5th in the state in scoring, 3rd in the state in made threes. He has more school records and 3rd region records than we have time to discuss tonight. Let's welcome from Butler County, Ty Price. Ty, can you hear us, buddy?
Yes, sir.
What's up, Ty?
How you doing tonight?
Good. How are y'all?
Good, good. How's the sports center?
It was good. We got after it today.
Good, good. You didn't see any rats, did you?
No.
Let's ask.
All right,
let's go in. Let's ask that.
Hey,
let's that be the first question.
Jump in, Joseph.
Let's ask. What's your thoughts on the sports center? Where it's located, the place in general. What's your thoughts on it? Talk to us about that.
I mean, I like it. Just the fact it's a big arena. I don't like the fact that Catholic gets to practice on it every day and nobody else does. But other than that, I mean, I think it's fine to host the tournament there. The court's a little hard on our knees, but other than that, it's good.
You wouldn't turn it down if they wanted to bring it to Butler County, though, right?
Definitely not. I love that.
All right, Ty, there's a lot of people listening tonight. A lot of them know Ty Price, the basketball player. I guess my first question would be, tell our viewers or listeners that may not know you, tell us about Ty Price. Tell us something we don't know, anything you'd want us to know about you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is that, I want to use basketball as a platform and not as my purpose in life, just to glorify God and everything he's done in my life. Outside of that, I just enjoy spending time with my friends and my teammates and, just having a good time.
I mean, you all are on a crazy run. You've played an extremely hard schedule. You've played – I mean, anybody that wanted to play, y'all have played them. You played in the King of the Bluegrass. You played you just played in some tremendous teams. But you also play a tremendous team every single day in practice, right?
Sure.
So
yeah.
tell us about going to war every day with your teammates. You've got the best defensive player, I guess, around in Briar Griffin. I'm sure you match up about every day. Tell us about going to battle with those guys in practice every day.
Sure. I mean, I think we definitely have a advantage as far as some of the other teams in the region, just being able to battle against each other every day. I mean, you got the defensive player of the year, and then you got, the best big in the region. And then Trev and Justin ain't nobody to be played with either. So, when we split up and, battle each other, it's just, it makes us all better every day. And, it's just something that I feel like some other teams don't really get around the region. Kind of us.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
No,
You've got such a talented roster. Justin and DeWeese, and I mean Lawson Rice is an absolute stud. I mean, he is so good. He would be the number one player in a lot of regions.
Yes,
Castlin, he lit us up for a school record, or almost a school record in threes over there at Butler County. And listen, when we're playing the game, I want to win, right?
Yeah.
But after the game's over, all the respect to a great performance. He could be averaging 20 points a game, at another school. But it just goes to show how unselfish you all are. Tell me about your recruitment. I know you've got some offers right now. You're talking to some people, and I don't want to get, if that's too personal, I understand. If it's not, share with us where you're at with your recruiting process.
Yeah, I mean, it's been going great so far. I've just tried to, enjoy the process, take as many visits as I can and find out as much as I can about the schools that are reaching out to me and recruiting me. Right now I got 4 offers. It's Eastern Kentucky University, Jacksonville State, Southeast Missouri State, and Texas A&M Corpus Christi. But I've had a bunch of other schools that have reached out over the last few months and years. Just showed a lot of interest. I mean, I took a bunch of visits here lately, or not here lately, but, just within the last year. I visited Auburn and Indiana, Oklahoma. I just recently visited Notre Dame. And I've just tried to enjoy the process, and it's something that, I've worked for, all throughout middle school and my high school career, just, to have those opportunities. So it's definitely a blessing to see it kind of play out.
Yeah, absolutely. Joseph and I were talking before you came on, and before we actually went on, and you're a 4-star. They call it a 4-star. How do you go about becoming a 4-star prospect? What does that mean? How did you get to that point? Obviously, you've had a lot of time in the gym, but how did you get to that point where you're recognized as a 4-star?
I mean, I would say just going to a bunch of camps, playing in front of a bunch of scouts at camp on the, the elite AAU circuits. I mean, they're coming out to like almost every game, and as long as you do your thing, you're going to get recognized. And I think it's something special, and it kind of, it just gives me an extra level of confidence to say I'm a 4-star when, a lot of NBA players like Stephen Curry, I don't know if he had any stars when he was in high school, Damian Lillard, like a lot of those top guards in the league and even in college right now or that were overlooked when they was in high school. I could say that, I was this in high school, and it just gives me an extra layer of confidence for sure.
You was talking about some of those guys. Who are who's your favorite college player right now?
I probably have to say Rob Dillingham. He's just such a dynamic scorer. Just the other night he scored or assisted on like 17 of the last 27 Kentucky's points. And he's just, he's not a super big guard, not super athletic, but his skill and his speed and his basketball IQ allows him to dominate at that level. He's definitely a special player.
What about NBA?
What do you think about? Yeah, go ahead. What about NBA?
What about NBA wise?
I don't know if I really have a favorite player, but I definitely have like players that I try to either model my game after or just take certain things from them. Like, obviously Trae Young is a smaller guy in the NBA. His pick and roll reads are just ridiculous. He averages like 27 and 9, and he's barely 6 foot. And then even like Luka Doncic, for example, like I'm not his height, but his footwork and, his skill level is just insane. And it allows him to, to not be as athletic as all the other guys out there, but still get to where he wants to get on the floor and, dominate.
Perfect answers. I was talking to some people when you were playing at Evans County, and we were talking about your game, and a lot of people said Luka because the way you can slow down the game, play at your pace, and really control it however you want. So let me ask this question, Ty. Being a 4-star, going into all these gyms, these different hometowns, playing at these places, your name's out there. Everybody knows who you are going into it. How do you face the adversity of playing in front of those people? And I'll elaborate a little more on that. You got the student sections constantly chanting. There's even parents, older people who give backlash, say wrong things, and there's definitely student sections who go at you. How do you deal with the hate? Because every bigger, more known athlete experiences it, but how do you experience it yourself, and how do you go against it? How do you just get out of that mental state and just focus on the game? Because it can be very difficult.
Yeah. I would just say a lot of it comes with the work that I put in behind the scenes, just trusting my work. I know what I'm capable of, and, no matter what anybody says, when I get out there during the game, it doesn't really bother me at all. I actually enjoy it. Obviously I don't want to be talked bad about, but just the atmosphere, playing in that type of atmosphere, and, just the crowd being rowdy. And it's just something that I've always enjoyed and, love to play in.
Yeah, something, Ty, I've had a lot of people comment to me. They'll say, they're like, that Price kid can play, and I really like his attitude. He's not talking any trash. He's not, taunting the crowd. He's not making all these, gestures and all this stuff. Why do you, if you watch the NBA or you watch college, it's very animated.
Yeah.
It's very animated. Even if you go on Twitter and watch, prospects in high school, why do you choose not to take part in that kind of behavior?
I just feel like, kind of like you said, it's just animated. Like, it's just extra. If you're actually good, your game's going to do your talking for you. If I'm out there killing, like, I don't have to say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the game, if we won and, I've did my thing, then there's nothing to be said. I don't have to taunt you or anything. I respect everybody that I play, so I would just say, I just don't choose to participate in it because it's kind of just fake, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like your style. I think you've garnered a lot of respect across the state from carrying yourself that way. And I'll say this as a parent, I've got a 16-year-old daughter. I've got a 13-year-old son, 9-year-old daughter, and a 7-year-old daughter. And there's some kids, they'll come in after they've watched a game and they'll do something, and I'll get on to them and be like, we do not act that way. And so it's refreshing to see someone that everybody notices, that I don't have to say that if they emulate your behavior. And so I appreciate that, Ty. All the respect goes to you for that.
Most definitely.
All right, I've got another.
Go
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, Joseph. You go ahead.
I will go ahead here. So Saturday we had the draw. We got the region tournament, excuse me. And you guys had played them once this season already, but you guys drew Davies.
They did not play them. It got canceled, right?
Got canceled?
Yeah, it got canceled.
It got canceled. No. Yeah.
Okay. That's on me. But how are you guys? I don't want to leak your game plan here, but how are you guys looking into them? Are you guys watching a lot of film, a lot of tape? How are you guys game planning for them? Because Davies is a really good school.
Yeah. I mean, just making sure we're getting better every day and focusing on the main goal, which is to win a region championship. I mean, obviously we're watching film, figuring out what they like to do, and we're gonna try to make them do what they don't want to do. But as long as we come into the game locked in, ready to go from the jump, we'll be fine. So,
what'd you think about your draw?
I'm excited about it. I mean, to win the region championship, you're going to have those teams anyway. So, why not just do it in the first round? I mean, it'll be a fun atmosphere. I think most of the tickets are already sold. I mean, there's hardly any. My sister was trying to get a ticket the other day, and she's going to have to be sitting up at the top. So it's going to be a fun atmosphere, and I'm just ready for it. That's
awesome. Of course, you've got them, and then potentially Ohio. And I know you don't look forward, and then obviously if you can get to the finals. Yeah. So one question we've got for you is, what would it mean to you? Now, if my history is right, Butler County's never won the regional tournament, right?
Right. That's right.
Okay. So what would it mean to your all squad and those young men on that team, your coaching staff, to bring home the first? Again, it's one game at a time, and we know that. But what would it mean to you all to bring it home for Butler County?
It means something special. I mean, just to be able to. I mean, that's kind of what we set out at the beginning of the year, is just trying to make history these next 2 years. The community's backing us. They all want to see it happen. I mean, we have people come up every day just, wanting us to get it done and take care of business. And I feel like we obviously have the opportunity to. And I feel like we are going to here in the next 2 weeks, I guess it would be. But no, it would mean the world. I mean, just playing with the guys I grew up playing with and making those memories, that's been our goal ever since the season started.
Yeah, it'll be a special time. Evanston County, I'll throw this little bit of trivia at you. You know how many times Evanston County's won the regional championship?
Once.
One time. Yeah. They also won the state championship that year. So there's 2 schools that's gone one time and won it, and that's Logan County and Evanston County, if my history serves me correctly. So if you get there, you got some pretty rich history there with you. Let me ask you this little bit of trivia. What year was that when Evanston County won the state championship?
76.
Man, okay. All right, I'm going to ask you the trivia questions. We're about done here, but let me ask you a couple of trivia questions. Did you hear them earlier in the show?
No. We was on the bus ride.
Owensboro. All right, I threw a Butler-Edmondson question. I threw out an Edmondson-Grayson question. Butler-Edmondson question. What's the largest crowd on record? And I'm going to answer this question after you guess. What's the largest crowd on record to ever witness a Butler County versus Edmondson County basketball game?
How much does a sports center seat?
Like 4,000 or 5,000.
I'd have to say like 4,500. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and answer. I've had a few guesses. The answer is 10,000.
Where was that?
All right, I'm going to give you the history here. I want you to learn this. All right, I hope you carry this history on. In the 1973-74 season, by the way, back then they didn't seed the district.
Yeah.
Okay. You drew. And there was Edmonson County was really good. Butler County was undefeated. They played once a year. They moved that game to Diddle Arena.
Dang.
And they had 10,000 people in attendance that night. And hold on, let me see if I can pull up this picture. It'll be in the background. Bear with me a second. This is just one little snippet. All right, I've got this picture here. All right. This is my dad.
Really?
In the 1973-74 season, he's shooting a layup. What you can't see about the picture is this is Diddle Arena, and it is full to the rafters.
That's crazy.
And there were 10,000 people in that at that game. And so Butler County won the game, remained undefeated. And when it came time for the district tournament and they drew, guess what? Butler and Edmonson County drew each other. They were both. They were both.
All our older fans always they think everybody's kind of saying that we're better than they were, even though they went defeated. And they talk about that a lot. They was like, man, that team, we should have won that year.
Yeah, they were huge. They were huge. So anyway, Edmonton won that game down at Diddle Arena. They played the second time and had 10,000 people both times. Can you imagine? And Western, it's in the newspaper. My dad's got the newspaper clippings. Western played the night before and had 2,500 people at the game.
That's wild. That'd be a crazy crowd to play in front of.
So 10,000 people. All right. My other trivia question, we'll let Briar try to answer it. So it's a Edmonson Grayson question. But Ty, any last things you want to share with us? Anything you want to tell us about you, your team? Or anything before we transition over to Briar?
No, I mean, just kind of like I said, I just always want to give God the glory and praise for, the highs and the lows. This game is just a game. Obviously, I want to be the best I can be at it, but, my main purpose in life is to serve Him and bring glory to His name. So I just want to, express that anytime I can.
Well, we appreciate you being on the show tonight. Hopefully, after it's all said and done, we can catch up with you. Of course, Edmonson County, we made the tournament. I hope we can play the same kind of game we played against Grayson County. I hope we can knock Owensboro Catholic off. And I would be so happy if it was a 12th district rematch for the regional championship. So best of luck to you. We'll be cheering for you on the other side of the bracket. And we hope you're able to bring it home this year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining, Todd.
Sir, thanks for having me.
I wish I had that much hair.
All right, let's get into this. I'll do the little thing about Briar. Thank you, Briar, for being on the show with us. Thank you for being on the show with us tonight. If you heard earlier, we crowned you as our Defensive Player of the Year for the region. It was unanimous. We both agreed on that. Right now, currently, you're averaging 11.5 points a game, 11.7, 35 from 3, 44 from the field, 4.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and 2 steals. But like we were texting earlier, your game speaks a lot more than just numbers. You fill the stat sheet everywhere. You had multiple double-doubles, multiple triple-doubles. So I want to start off with a question here pretty early, but I want to ask you, how does it feel going into every game, usually having a game plan and having to guard the best guard on the opposite team? Like we said earlier, this third region is filled with elite guards. So you having to guard pretty much their best player every night. How is that for you?
Yes, sir. I enjoy it. I really like to show how it is to be pressured in the game instead of these other teams just letting them go anywhere as they want. So I'm just showing them that I'm prepared and ready, that they're not going to go past their average in scoring. Mm-hmm. And I just try to keep every good player under 5.
Yeah, the third region is filled with amazing guards. And like I said, you having to guard them every night. I'll ask this question too. It kind of links forward and links back to that question. Out of all the teams you've played this season, all the games, who is the toughest player that you have had to guard?
Probably Chance Dillingham from saying that he was a quick guard. I like this game a lot.
Hey, Briar, Jonathan Williams here. I got a question for you. You know, a lot of times people talk about how many points are scored. I know you've got a good average and rebound, assists, and steals, but a lot of people talk about the points that are scored. You know, like LeBron, they're celebrating his 40,000th point, and Caitlin Clark's broke these scoring records. But no championship team wins without a defensive stopper and without good, strong defense. What do you think your role is? How important do you think your role is to winning championships?
It's very important because, I mean, I just got to get all the guys going on the defensive end, get us all talking. When that happens, like, all 5 of us are the best defenders on the floor.
Now, I want to say this. You know, actually, I want you to know we also invited Lawson Rice on the show. Would love to get him on at some point. Tell me about your teammates. And I asked Ty this question. You all have played a lot of great teams this year, but you play a great team every day in practice. Tell me about some of those matchups with Castlin, with Price. I'm sure you're on Rice and DeWeese, and you've got some kids that come off the bench as well. Tell me about your practices and your teammates, how it is playing against those guys.
Yes, sir. They're really physical and competitive because everybody wants to win, of course. And even when we're in practice, everybody's mindsets are to just go out there and kill and be prepared for the next game, get our chemistry going, get us prepared, and then just go out and go get it. But, I mean, when me and Ty match up, we're going at each other. If I match up with Jay Bird or Castlin, I'm going at him. He's going at me. And that goes for Trevor and Lawson also.
Can Ty still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm bringing back an old nickname from back in the day with Jason Williams. We're going to nickname you White Chocolate. So when y'all go at each other, what you're trying to say is, I'm asking Briar this question. Now, I just want to make sure he could hear me bring back the name White Chocolate because I think it's very fitting. So what you're saying is when y'all go at it in practice, you can check him, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Got that good jump shot.
All right, I thought that's what you'd say. Go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah, I would love to see those in practice 1v1s or when you guys go against each other. I think that needs to be documented. I think that needs to be recorded. I'll ask you same question like I asked Top. How Davies is a really tough opponent. They're a really good team. They got really good guard play in Jonathan Moss. So what are you looking forward going up against Davies? Game planning them, watching them. How's the mood right now, I guess, for the whole team? Are you guys confident? I know you want to be confident, feel like you're going to win every game, but how's it going right now in the game planning scheme and getting ready for those guys?
Yes, sir. We're really confident. We're really prepared for this game. We still got 3 more days to prepare. It's going to be fun.
I want to ask one more.
Brian, go ahead, Joseph.
Go ahead. You let me go ahead last time. The floor is yours.
No, I appreciate that.
No problem.
You know,
no problem.
we know Briar, the defensive stopper. We know Briar. A lot of people refer to you as a dog. You're getting loose balls and all those things. And I asked this question to Ty, but tell us about Briar Griffin, the person, something that people don't know about you. Tell us about you.
Like a hobby?
Tell us something. I don't know. That's your call.
Anything. Who is
anything,
Briar
man?
Griffin?
Tell us about Briar.
I just like always helping people, like always being there for somebody that's down, helping them get back up, and then when I'm down, they come help me or something like that. I love just like giving and helping.
Yeah,
Hey, there's nothing wrong with putting a little good out in the world. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Briar, let me ask you about college. Do you have aspirations of going to college? Maybe
Yes,
playing basketball?
sir.
Where would you like to go?
I don't know yet. I'm not. But if I could go anywhere, I would like to be like a close to D1 school, or like
Close, close
BKU.
to home, you mean?
Yeah, yes, sir. Or like Austin.
Okay.
That
Good. What do you want to study? I didn't ask Ty this, but I'm going to ask you. What do you want to study when you go to college?
I want to get my business degree and be an entrepreneur.
Perfect.
Awesome.
I want to say this too, Brian. We were asking you about the person you are. I got to talk to you a few times, the Whitesville game, then talk to you here. Briar is a really good person. You were when I walked up to you, I didn't really know how to go across it, but I talked to you about being on the show, and it went well. So, and I really like what you said, always helping people. Same with Ty's answer, talking about that. Y'all guys get a lot of hate. A lot of people, great basketball players, they get a lot of negative feedback, a lot of hate. But deep down, outside of that, you guys are great competitors, and y'all really are just good people in general. So I asked Ty this question a little bit too. How do you face adversity and, people kind of going against you, talking about you, having their name in your mouth, I guess?
Like Ty said, I mean, it's fun hearing it, but we don't want to hear it. It gives us a lot of energy and makes our mentality, like our mental state, even higher to go out there and play harder.
More of a confidence boost, I guess you could say. Mr. Williams, do you have any questions left? Anything to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Briar, I'd like to know who your favorite college player is and your favorite NBA player.
Of course, Reed Shepherd, number 15.
Oh, yeah.
Number 15. So I like that a lot. He's a good player, defensive player. He's only a freshman. And then
let's hear it on the NBA level.
NBA.
Yeah.
I like John Morant a lot. Mm-hmm. His mentality.
Two great answers.
Let me ask you this follow-up question: do you think Reed should stay or go? I mean, he's projected right now as a lottery pick, but I mean, he's the king in Kentucky. He's the king in Kentucky right now. He's Elvis in Kentucky. So, what would your advice to him be?
Yes, sir. He should definitely go while he can. So next year, just in case he got injured, you'd have to say probably another year after that. So go while you can.
So cash out.
Yes, sir.
Head toward the league. Man, it's hard to think about being 20 years old, and I'm 42 years old, but it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. I was 20 years old. Go ahead and laugh, Joseph. It's okay. It doesn't seem like that long ago. Yeah, that goes without saying. But I can't imagine being sent to Houston or to wherever. And hey, I'm from this little town in Kentucky. All of a sudden, I'm in Houston, Texas, or in Los Angeles, and I'm going at it myself. But it'd be hard to pass up being able to go pro even at his age, being able to be drafted that high. Let me ask you another question about your teammates, Briar. Who's your favorite guy on the team? And I know you're all, obviously, by watching you play, you're close and you have good, you're cohesive and so forth. But when the matchups happen in practice, who's the guy when they call your name, you're like, all right, we're gonna take the other side down?
Probably Lawson.
I was gonna say, who's guarding Lawson in practice? Because that's
he's me or Ty. Yeah, it just depends on how the team split.
Yeah.
Cash.
Go ahead. All right, what AAU team you playing for next year or this summer?
Not for sure yet. I just had a team texted me on the way here. So I've been talking to them a little.
Good. I'm gonna ask you one more question. I'll let Joseph ask you anything he's got left. One of the big stories in college basketball is actually on the women's side with Caitlin Clark. What do you think when you watch her game, and where do you think she ranks? One recent controversy was JWill said she's not one of the greatest because she's not won an NCAA championship. Do you buy into that? Yes or no? And then what do you make of her game?
She's a really good player. I mean, that's really all you got to say. You watch, I mean, you're going to find out she can shoot the ball. Other these trick shots she's throwing up from deep and stuff like that. I mean, her game's crazy good.
I want to link back to kind of what we were talking about. Your favorite player, collegiate level, NBA level. Ty kind of elaborated and said this. Who's somebody in the NBA that you really model your game after, or I guess watch highlights of? Try to play like, in a sense.
Probably like Patrick Beverly.
Okay.
Like defensive player.
Yeah. I like that.
I like how he plays defense, and then watching the old Kobe Bryant film, I've seen him like break down like what to do when they go this way or that way to be ready to steal it or something like that.
Mr. Williams, you got anything else here to say? That was my final one I had written down.
No, we just wish you the best of luck, Briar. Appreciate you coming on the show. Did a great job. We wish you the best of luck. Hope, honestly, unhesitantly, I say this. We hope you win. Of course, if we could win it, we're from Evanston County, we want to win it. But if we can't win it, we want you all to win it. And I say that every year. When we got beat last year, I hoped Butler County won it. And so best of luck to you all. And, again, we hope you knock off Davis County. I think it's Thursday night. And then on from there. Appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you and Ty both.
Thank you. Good luck to y'all too.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to answer the let me get over here on the side and let these guys go. All right. They logged off there. I'm going to answer the other trivia question. We've got the last trivia question. The other trivia question was about the largest crowd ever for you all that's just tuning in. I see Kennedy Swihart tuning in, Coach Booth, and some others tuning in, Dylan Lindsay, Andrea. The first trivia question was, what's the largest crowd on record in to witness a Butler County, Evanston County basketball game? And that was in the 73-74 season. And I'd ask what season it was. It was 73-74 season. That was 10,000 people twice at Diddle Arena. So that was incredible crowds, good trivia. Here's our last question. What Evanston County player, this is on the boys' side, since we returned to the 12th district in 2006, has a winning record versus Grayson County in their career and is undefeated against the Cougars in district tournament play? I've only had one guess
I got
on any
one.
of our comments.
I got one. I got a few. I got people guessing Braxton. I had some older people, but I did have someone get the right answer, and that was Andrew Talley.
I did too. Yeah. And it wouldn't be Braxton. Now, Braxton would have qualified for a winning record because when Coach Matt stepped down and we hired Brad Johnson, we went, I believe, 5-1 under Brad Johnson against Grayson County. So, but Braxton only played them once in the district tournament. His first district tournament was against Whitesville Trinity, and we lost that game.
Yeah.
So, do you want to tell us the right answer?
Yeah, it's our very own William Alexander. So, yeah, for those who guessed that, my first person guessed that was Andrew Talley. So, congrats.
Mine was Joe Monroe.
Okay.
So kudos to Joe Monroe and Andrew Talley. They're probably fishing somewhere and texting from the same spot. They had the right answer. But Will Alexander is the answer to that trivia question. So I do want to thank Lake Forest Recruiting Firm and Braden's Blessings for bringing us the show tonight, to Rafferty's and Essence Oils, and also the awards portion brought to us by Kevin Alexander, Evanston County Clerk. I'm going to let my co-host, Joe Decker, give us the last word. thank you all for tuning in.
For those who wasn't able to make it, make sure to let everybody know. You can go back and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. It'll all be there again to rewatch. Thank you for the great audience. We had a really big audience in here. I've had a lot of talk about it, so we did really good. I love the face cam edition, and this is here to stay. So thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight and watched. I want to say this too. We had talked about this earlier through text, but Wildcat Alley is our name currently, but it's not here to stay forever. We're looking into different possible names. So I know there's a lot of good brains out there. So anybody who's got ideas, want to throw some at us, maybe give us a name. We're open to that. We're accepting of that. And once again, like I said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This was a great episode, and be back with us next week. Same time planned, Sunday from either 6 or 8.
Well, listen, I'm not going to give you the last word. I'm going to say one more thing. We will most likely be on next Sunday night. We're still figuring out this new software that we've got, and we appreciate everyone tuning in. We will let you know who the guests are. We're going to let the regional tournament unfold in the 3rd and the 4th region before we invite guests on. You know, we may even go midweek. We may do a show another night. I don't know yet. Because the good news about now being on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, lots of different people can go to different outlets and rewatch the show. So more info to come. Thank you all for tuning in. That's a wrap.